to all the dispossessed youth of Africa, for perpetuation of communion with ancestral spirits through the fight for African freedom, and in the firm faith that the dead, the living, and the unborn will unite to build the destroyed shrines. Selah. Hello and welcome, family, to another episode of Wake Up Africa. My name is Dr. Mumbi. How you doing? How's everything going? I really do pray that you are well in all your ways and that you're moving into living life truly, family, on your own terms. We really want to thank everyone that supports us on Patreon. Thanks for all the love donations through PayPal. We appreciate you so much. And just for all the love, family, in the comments, in the emails. It's absolutely such a beautiful thing. I return that energy of love and beauty right to you. And I felt led to do a show on why you were chosen, because I think it's so important for you to have that clarity. And I hope it will work as a key or an unlocking to you understanding even why you're here and what your assignment is. And please watch my show on, many are chosen but few are called. And the calling part, where the Most High moves you now into action, is happening. It's happening for many, many people, but it's more about reaching a certain level energetically, a certain understanding and understanding. So the reason you were chosen is because you have a certain spiritual skill set that is necessary for this great turning of the ages, transition from one world to another. As I've mentioned in previous shows before, this time round, Mama Gaia is choosing to do things differently. And we are also, as part of her team, we are also doing things differently. Before, at such a turning of the ages, we would have, many would have closed out their book of lives, basically died, gone through the Ma'at process, the judgment, the balancing, reviewing their life, and then come back in the new earth, been born again. So, and got in a new bodysuit, got in a new family, got in a new life, etc., etc. But because of the kind of spells and magic that the enemies of our soul had done in an attempt, because they are manipulators of energy and manipulators of narratives and stories. So they've been manipulating things on a mental level and as much as they could on a spiritual level by keeping people on a very low spiritual vibration. But they did so many spells to try and stop this and to block out a lot of the, the most high, the highest vibration, the highest level vibration. Many of us were called into this world so that we could die and be born again in the same earth suit. And many are not going to be able to do that. That's why we've been seeing so many people either accepting the double Big Mac or choosing, which scrambles their information, literally their library, their book of life, to choosing to exit. And that is going to continue and increase in earnest, as the vibrations on Mama Earth continue to rise. Like, many people just won't have done the necessary work to be able to keep the same earth suit. They'll literally have to abandon this one and go get and get in line, because there's a long line to get in to come in again. And you see what the enemy of our soul, Satan, the devil, whatever you want to call him, what his whole agenda was to entrap as many souls at this vibration, so that even when they left, if they had not done the necessary work, they would only be able to come back in at that vibration, and the vibration is going lower and lower. And he had made it so that higher vibrational beings could not access this world. So we came in like thieves in the night, literally, family. You know how they talk about Christ coming back like a thief in the night? We came in, but they could tell some of our signatures because of our skill set. So they could tell that this was a Queen of Sheba energy. This was a Messiah energy. This was a Guru energy. This was a great King energy. This was a great Queen energy. Like, we couldn't hide those things. So they could tell some of our signature. But it was a higher level skill set. And I've said there's different levels to chosen ones, right? There's different levels to a family. There's messiahs here, there's emperors and empresses here, there's gurus here, there's mighty healers here, there's warriors here. I mean, warrior kings, warrior queens. Most of the chosen ones were leaders in their time, graduated to a certain level, and were of service to humanity, which is why they were chosen. And many of you were chosen by your own spiritual family. You see, many of you come from some high level, cosmic families, cosmic nations. And there was even a meeting. And it was like, okay, you go, you go, you go. Because the lifetimes you'd experienced and what you had in your book of life qualified you to be of service to Mama Gaia. Because we got lives going on. We got amazing things happening. So it's like it was an honor to be called, but it really is an assignment. We are on assignment. When we finish the assignment, we will return to our great nations. So many of you were great kings and queens in past lives, and you led people. You were honorable. You were trustworthy. You could be trusted with the souls of millions, with the minds of millions. Many of you were great healers who could heal on an individual level and who could heal nations, who could heal millions of people at a go. Someone contacted me and was like, we're going to need the high priests and priestesses to do mass exorcisms because religion is literally a possession. I'll probably do a separate show on that. But you had those lifetime signatures and you were able to graduate, leaving a better world, leaving a better community, leaving a more elevated society wherever you were assigned to. And you had a certain agility with this life, with your biology, with your mind, with your spirit, which enabled you to bring in some really high-level spiritual vibe, spiritual power, spiritual energy. And this is why you were chosen. And many of us came. There's never been a time, family, where there's been so many chosen ones here at the same time. I always say this is like a central meeting place where the gods of many worlds have gathered once again. Usually it's just one great Messiah, one great teacher, one great ruler, or several. But now we have millions. Like, this has never been seen. This has never been done. But your skill set was necessary. I mean, it's beyond a league of extraordinary gentlemen. Your skill set was necessary. Because many have opted out. Many chosen ones have also opted out, family. The lower level ones. Sorry to say that. They've opted out. They couldn't handle it. But the highest of the highs, they're still here. They've faced the craziest warfare. But we had to go through that. We had to go through the abuse we went through. And I'll let you know why right after this.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, Africa.
Welcome back, family, to Wake Up Africa. My name is Dr. Mumbi Seraki. Why were you chosen? As I said before we took the break, it's because you had certain skill sets. And some of you chose yourselves. You were called on, your nations were called on. And you were, and you had a council. Because a lot of the people, a lot of the chosen ones that are here right now are warring spirits, are warring kings and queens, warring goddesses and gods. That's the energy that was needed to break down this cabal over earth. And you see, it's not about, a lot of us have been in spiritual warfare. But the most critical work was to anchor ourselves down and to bring in that higher level energy by force. And I always say, Mama Earth is like a meeting place. It's like a great library. It's like, yeah, a meeting point for various worlds, various, fire nations, different dimensions of fire nations, different dimensions of water nations, different dimensions of earth nations, and ether, where everyone just kind of comes and meets, and we're able to interact because we all have this spacesuit on. So we're able to interact with beings who we would never interact with in our old worlds. And that is just one of the great gifts of Mama Gaia. And because of the exchange of knowledge and how this has really helped and been such a joy, she's been such a joy to so many nations across universes. That's why so many great nations, great bloodlines chose to come in. And the reason that you chose your particular bloodline is because your nations, some people or you yourself, was somehow connected to that ancient bloodline. And so you had to come and kind of energetically pull yourself out. Because some of the most ancient bloodlines have become the most wicked, have become the most contaminated, and we can't be associated with that. So some of us came to even just, a lot of us actually, to pull our energetic signatures out of that, where we entered those families and we cut those cords, and we are now literally creating new bloodlines. We collected everything that we needed to collect, all the energies, all the fragments of our nation, of our people, from those bloodlines. And now we're moving into a space where we're creating a whole new bloodline with children from our nations. We may choose to, also connect with children from other nations and create hybrids, but we're creating new bloodlines. But we had to go through those narcissistic families, toxic, jealous, wanting nothing good for you, always, praying for your destruction, always chanting for your downfall. Like just low level vibes that we can't even understand because we're creators, we're not destroyers. So to be around destructive energy is just like, why? I mean, why would you even do that? It doesn't even make sense when it's so awesome to create. But we had to go through that so that we could also understand this world, because this world itself is also narcissistic. And narcissism is an illness. It's an extreme imbalance where through arrogance, ignorance, blindness, and all kinds of things, people live off stealing people's energy. And that's a signature that Babylon came in with, where they wanted to steal that womb energy, that creative power. And then those who didn't do the work and fell and lost their contact with their nations and literally became like demons, and vampires, because they didn't have that natural connection to source because they were corrupted and contaminated. Because source is like it's like the sun, it's a beaming light. It's you who determines whether you can connect to source or not. And just because you pray 5 times a day doesn't mean you're connected to source. Just saying. And so we had to understand and go through the very personal and painful experience of narcissism within our families, so that we could overcome this world, so that we could overstand the narcissism of the world and defeat it from its core. Because when we gain victory in our families, beloveds, that means we've defeated narcissism energetically on a small scale. And we'll be able to repeat that. And it also serves as a point of protection because we now understand how narcissistic this world is, how the enemies of our soul will stoop to the lowest level. They ain't playing, and neither should we be. They will take you out if they can. They will poison you if they can. They will possess you if they can. They will destroy your plans if they can. They will harvest your energy. They will feed on you. This is not a joke thing. And for a lot of us, because of the highest levels that we've come from, this is something we could not have even grasped. It's so alien that we had to go through it on such an individual level. And recognize that the way to overcome it is just to pull our energy back, because it's our energy that's running the show on an individual level and on a collective level. And not to become like them, but to understand and understand and understand the kind of magic they use and why we don't need to use that. They're scraping for source level horizontally. We're just getting more than we can even handle vertically. And that's what they want. They want to tap into us like we're generators and literally suck the source out of us, suck the life out of us. And we had to go through that because new levels, new devils. We're now moving into global assignments, into the reason that we're here. And we have to be able to know how to defeat a narcissistic system, because it's so twisted that if you haven't been in it, you can't even understand how to take it down. It's like phantoms in the sky. They have way more power because they control so much of this. They have way more power in just as imagination than they really have. Or I should say they think they have power, but they really don't. Like their power is something that can be, like you see the way you pop a balloon? That's how their power is. It can be popped just like that. But they have so many booby traps and mazes and back doors. But it's nothing compared to higher level vibrations and pulling your energy back. So you've been chosen because you have the necessary spiritual tenacity to survive a narcissistic world and not have you go dark. Not have you now worship the devil. In fact, the only thing it does is make you closer to the Most High, to your cosmic family, to the spiritual world. And there is so much because of how mentally powerful, agile, tenacious, persistent you are. You were the right person for this assignment. And part of the thing, because it's been an energetic war physically. We've been fighting energetic wars within our families. It was like good over evil. What energy will win and dominate? And the fact that many of you were born through those families but didn't, and then left and cut cords means you won. And the negative within your families that does magic, that does witchcraft, that steals destinies, must fold, must fall. And that's what's coming. And that's why many have been moved. But as much as you are chosen, remember, you have to get to a certain energetic level so that you get that call. And please watch the show I did on Many Are Chosen, but Few Are Called. Until next time, tuko pamoja.